Hello.
Welcome back to Downstairs Discussion now. We've changed our name.
Oh,
I
that's
think it
right.
feels better. We changed our name. We don't really tell stories. But I think Downstairs Discussion fits better. Anyways. How you guys doing?
I was staring at Wyatt's eyes.
Nice. How you guys doing?
You know, I wasn't frustrated today.
You should have been, bro. I was.
Okay, well, okay. For the crap that I had to deal with today.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah. You had to pick up diapers, right?
I had to pick up diapers, and then we spilled like these pickled olives on the concrete, so that left the oil stain.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that was the worst.
It smelled so bad.
Yeah,
It
literally
smelled
vinegar.
like. Have you guys ever smelled oil paint?
No,
Uh-huh.
just like
So
that. It
it's
smells
like-
exactly like that.
Pretty much.
Oh, that sucks. I'm taking my glasses. I think that's hurting my brain.
But
I think I've smelled
People,
better
I look
oil
less
paint.
smart without my glasses.
yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I wasn't as frustrated today. I don't know.
That's good. Are you guys
Yeah.
working tomorrow? You both work
I'm
tomorrow?
not.
You're not?
I'm working tomorrow.
That's right. You work on Wednesdays now. I work tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's sick. Today felt so long though. Probably just because I was in there at 8:30 when no one else was in there.
Why'd you go on a date? Oh,
I took Thatcher's shift.
really?
Yeah, I worked that Thatcher shift. 8:30 to 4:30.
Why's he? Do you know why? Weird.
Co-workers.
Yeah, talking the work talk.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So fun.
Okay, now we can talk about what Wyatt's been dying to talk
Oh
about.
my gosh. Well, I guess the context to it, because you guys were not talking smack about me. You guys were talking about me on the last episode with Isaiah, right?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I don't even remember exactly how it.
Basically, I thought Mormons get their own planet, and I
Oh,
asked
yeah.
Wyatt, and he
And
told
then-
me no, they don't.
No, and then Isaiah was like, "Ask Wyatt," and then you guys started talking about me, so now I'm on here, I guess, to talk about Mormons.
Basically, that's all we wanted you on here for.
Well, I guess. Well, I'm not a Mormon, because you're like, "Is he a Mormon?" I'm not a Mormon.
It's because they were like, you know so much about it. I was like,
He just likes to eat
Listen,
things.
I West Valley has a lot of Mormon kids there,
That's
so
true.
that's true.
a lot of my friends were Mormons, and so I remember my neighbor. He was one of my best friends, and I remember him talking about like how he was a Mormon. I'd never heard of Mormons before, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a Mormon. We're basically like Christians and whatnot." I was like, "I've never heard of them before." I was like, "Let's slow down."
Stop right there.
Okay.
They can't drink coffee, right?
No, they can't.
They are not
Well,
like
they-
Christians.
Wait,
Christians drink coffee like crazy. There's literally a coffee shop in my church.
I think
Yeah, ours too.
so. Because you talked about the planets. I had some amount of time ago on the official LDS website, they released what is called the gospel topic essays or something like that, and they just basically do a run through of Mormon beliefs, and of course it's from the Mormon perspective, and it's just I don't know, list about, for like this one, I pulled up this one because it was the main focus. It says becoming like God, so that's one. There's another one about the Book of Abraham. That's a fun one. That's another thing that we don't have to get into right now. But honestly, there's a lot to talk about. I should have brought my little Book of Mormon with me.
Oh yeah,
You have a Book of Mormon?
I have one. I have like 4 of them, I think, because I got some from the thrift store. One of them was from like 1945, And so that's like before it's been updated, so it still has the stuff about like black people not being to work in temples, in their temples and whatnot. So
It's
yeah.
interesting.
So yeah, and they say that it's the most perfect book in all of history.
What's the difference between the Mormon Bible and the Christian Bible or the Catholic Bible?
Christian Bible. Well, one. Wait, you want to know like?
Is there any notable differences in the stories in the Bible, or is there?
Well, there's a Joseph Smith translation of the Bible, and I believe that he added a extra chapter onto Genesis.
Okay.
So I added a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
I've been waiting for a Joseph Smith translation of the Bible to come into the thrift store, and I've yet to have one come in.
Okay.
But a lot of Book of Mormons though, a lot actually.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's been a long time.
it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, yeah. One of the main donors. We ask, you want to write your donation down for a partner. It's either no or
LDS.
or Latter-day Saints.
Yes, always there.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
it's
one
those two.
person, they were like, I don't know if it matters, but LDS. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, we got it for everyone.
got him right in the system.
Anyways, but the Book of Mormon and the Bible are two totally different books.
Oh, okay.
Because the Book of Mormon was, the golden tablets that Joseph Smith found, and he, what was it, like, divinely translated them or something. So he like grabbed them, ran home with them somehow. These freaking golden tablets, and then
You get mugged?
translate them. I don't know. Maybe. Can you imagine?
He's running home with gold. And
I know. Yeah.
When was the Mormon Bible created?
1800s. That's when. Yeah.
Gold was
1800s.
cherished then. How did he not get mugged?
I don't know.
He get stood up.
He's like hiding them under his shirt.
Bro,
I don't know. Anyways, but the Book of Mormon. Yeah, I should have brought it with me, because they have a whole different set of books, and basically it's about the Americas. Like, Jewish people came to America, and then fast forward, like Jesus coming to the Americas or something. And
Yeah,
saving
because the
people.
Mormon beliefs were created during whenever America was first starting to be created.
Kinda, yeah. It was in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, 1800s. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I know there's like significantly different like things that they say in the Bible, because they believe that the Bible is been corrupted over time.
Okay.
Like, the original text of the Bible has been corrupted, so they believe what the Bible says as long as it's translated correctly. And
so their translation is the best.
usually they refer to the King James version of the Bible. I don't know why, because we literally have way better translations today. But so King James Bible, and then the Book of Mormon is like their main scriptures. Plus, Doctrine and Covenants and Pearl of Great Price, which is where most of their theology comes in. Which I actually thought was surprising. Most of their beliefs are not in the Book of Mormon itself. It's mostly in Doctrine and Covenants, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Are there different restrictions for the Mormon? I know they can't drink coffee.
Yeah.
They're like, well, like, what are some other oddities that you know of?
No dating before 16 or something like that, I think. I think
I
that's a lot of
guess
my
I can see
Mormon
that.
friends. I don't know. I know coffee is a big one.
I never understood that.
It's because I guess caffeine is addictive.
I mean, it is addictive.
but literally, I drink coffee and I'm addicted to it. And oh shoot!
I guess
Crap!
I guess it's not a bad addiction.
It's not like
You just
other
can't let it
addictions.
get bad.
I mean, I get headaches if I
It could
don't
be
have
unhealthy.
coffee. But it's not like I need it, like it's distracting me from God or something. That's not
Yeah.
the case. Literally, I have a mug at my house that says Jesus and coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. Caffeine is addictive, but I don't think it stops many things in your life, like alcohol or something else would.
Yeah, that definitely not on the same
So it's
level
not
of
the same
alcohol.
level, yeah.
No,
True, yeah.
definitely not.
The dating before 16, I think I've heard that because when I played football, there was a Mormon on my team,
Yeah.
and he would talk about it. Like, he was like 15 or something, and they'd make fun of him because he's never had a girlfriend. He was like, it's because I'm a Mormon. And they would call him like Mormon something, his Mormon whatever his name.
Dang, that's messed up.
Dude, that's not cool.
They were like bullying him. Like, he was
oh, you're a Mormon?
scrub.
What a scrub.
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of Mormon friends. They're honestly pretty cool people.
They're cool people, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so whatever I say here is not to rip on.
It's not to-
yeah, as much as I
Clarify.
joked beforehand,
Just gotta
it's
clarify.
not to make fun of Mormons because they're honestly cool people. I have a lot of cool friends.
Except for the missionaries.
Oh, yeah, except they never come to my house.
They always come to my house.
Dude, what the
I
heck?
should have told them when they came
Like,
here.
hey, I actually know a guy that really needs
He really
talking
needs the
to.
Lord.
Yeah,
He really needs a talking to.
yeah.
You just sat them down and just talked to them. Listen, man.
Hey, I just want to talk to you guys about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I know you guys have our Lord and Savior, but I have my Lord. Anyways, so yeah, the Book of Mormon. One of the major verses that I know really stuck out to me, because I haven't read through the Book of Mormon completely. I've read through the first book, and I think the visions of Joseph Smith, because he had like an angel that came to him, and it's an angel named Moroni or something like that, and told him where the tablets were, golden tablets falling from heaven. That's not how the Bible was made, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Clarification.
Just clarify.
Yeah.
One of the verses, I think it says, again, I should have brought it with me, but it says, like, for we know that it's by grace that we've been saved through faith. After all we can do. After all we can do. You know.
After.
You know that you've probably heard a verse in just going to church or youth group that sounds similar to that.
Yeah.
For we know that it's by grace through faith
Yeah,
that
it
we've been
sounds
saved.
familiar. The first part.
Apart from works, so that no one can boast.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference. We know that it's by grace through faith after all we can do, and then the Bible saying without works, so that no one can boast. So that's a pretty big difference for on how
it's a big
salvation works.
Yeah.
Then I kind of wanted to jump into the whole becoming God things, because it's just...
Yes, I want to hear this.
Yeah. Do you want me to just start from the beginning and read?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Or you can summarize. You can read it and then be like, okay, so basically this paragraph says...
I'm going to really suck at doing that.
Okay,
So I might as well just start. It says, one of the most common images in Western and Eastern religions alike is a God as a parent and a human being as God's children. Billions pray to God as their parent, invoke the brotherhood and sisterhood of all people. So God being Father, something like that. But people of different faiths understand the parent-child relationship between God and humans in significantly different ways. Some understand the phrase "child of God" as an honorary title reserved only for those who believe in God and accept His guidance. So, sons of God, like those who profess to be Christians, are considered children of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what they're talking about. But they say Latter-day Saints see all people as children of God in a full and complete sense. So everyone is a child of God. They consider every person divine in origin, nature, and potential. Each has an eternal core and is a beloved spirit son or daughter of heavenly parents, which they also believe that there's a mother God, but isn't mentioned in the Bible because the worship, I guess, just is alone to the Father or something like
Mhm.
that. So yeah, 2 parents in heaven. Yeah, and then it says each possesses seeds of divinity and must choose whether to live in harmony or tension with that divinity. Although the atonement of Jesus, which it was his sacrifice, all people may progress towards perfection and ultimately realize their divinity. Just as a child can develop the attributes of his or her parents over time, the divine nature that humans inherit can be developed to become like their heavenly Father. This making sense?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so they're saying we have divinity in us.
Yeah.
That we could become like our Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep reading. It says the desires of nurture. I don't know what that word is. The divinity in his children is one of God's attributes and that most inspires, motivates, and humbles members in the church. God's loving parentage, guidance. Talk about glory. Trying to see. I'll skip a little bit further. What does the Bible say about humans' divine potential? Again, this is from the Mormons' perspective. Several biblical passages intimate. Well, I don't know what that's saying. They are basically saying humans can become like God. The likeness of humans to God is emphasized in the first chapter of Genesis, where it says, God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female created he them, because this is King James. After Adam and Eve partook of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God said that they had become as one of us, suggesting that a process of approaching godliness was already underway. There's a whole lot I could just go into in just that little bit and how that gets misunderstood, but I won't, because there is another one that is a lot more fun to get into. It says, so suggesting later in the Old Testament, a passage in the book of Psalms declares, "I have said, ye," or you, "are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." And then they say how Jesus basically repeats that same phrase, "You are children," or "You are gods, sons of the Most High," and that is from Psalm 82, which in itself is an interesting passage. Do you want me to open it up and talk about it a little bit? Just that one passage?
Psalm 82?
Yeah, because what they're claiming basically is that the Bible says that that it says that we as people can become like God, and we can become God. I guess in the last podcast, you guys looked up where the idea of like the planet thing came from.
Yeah.
I think they go into that about how like it was just part of a film, and so it's not necessarily true. But but in a sense, at the same time, like this idea plays into their belief in a progression of gods. So they believe that God, like the Father, God the Father, is a man, and that he had a God, and then that God had a God. It's an eternal
cycle.
It's an eternal progression. I actually remember in high school at one of the football games, I was talking with a friend about it, and she was starting to bring up this same exact idea of there being a eternal progression of God. So
okay.
Yeah, and that's basically it. I could go into a little bit more, but I I really want to get into
Psalm 82.
Psalm 82 because.
Do you have it on hand?
I was gonna say I think my little Bible in my backpack. I do.
Okay.
I always have a Bible.
Do you
on me.
actually?
He carries his backpack around and he has a Bible in it.
Oh,
I
okay,
have-
okay.
Other books that I've gone through.
I
As
was gonna
well.
say you have like the Holy Bible app, then you always have it on.
Oh, yeah, that too.
He just reaches into the back pocket, reaches.
Well, no, I
Oh.
feel like this is easier. This is easier. Psalm 82. I'll read the whole thing because why not?
Because why not? We have time.
Do you guys want to jump in and say anything? 'Cause I don't want to just talk.
I'm
about
good.
this.
I'm learning.
Yeah,
learning
I'm
right
just
now.
trying to learn, to be honest.
You're just trying to learn.
I want to know.
Yeah, and I guess I should also say, this is just stuff that I've like read and heard and learned and whatnot. So,
This is just what you know.
this is
You're not
what
part
I
of the
know.
Mormon church.
Huh?
You're not part of the Mormon church.
I'm not
so,
part of the
you're
Mormon
not claiming
church.
to be in there.
This is-
I am
stuff
not
that
claiming to
you
know
will
everything
learn.
about the Mormon church, but
Exactly.
I am reading from there. I was reading from their stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
All about context.
yeah, all about context, which they really took this verse in Psalm 82 out of context. And I'll read it here. It says, this is God speaking. He says, I said, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. That's the verse that they pulled right out of the context. They just, you know, and, well, I'll just read it and see what you guys think. So this is verse 1. It says, God has taken his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. He says, how long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. They have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. This is the verse. I said, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men, you shall die and fall like any prince. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations.
There it is.
I actually
There it
knew
is.
that.
Huh?
I knew the second part, nevertheless.
Nevertheless,
You will
like
die.
men,
You will die.
you will die.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if people actually want this verse talking about them. Because within this context, God is... Okay, let's look at it from the Mormon perspective. If they're saying in this verse that God is talking to us as humans, it says, I said, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. And then it says, nevertheless, like men, you shall die and fall like any prince.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically cursing humans and saying, you guys are going to die.
Still mortal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. But it also does not recognize the rest of the surrounding context of the verse. Like, what the heck is the divine council? And it says, in the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. Like, basically the Bible is professing to say, or saying that there are other gods. Which in itself is another whole crazy idea.
Yeah. Just snowballs.
It's just, yeah. Do you want me to get into this idea about gods? Do you want me to transition to that? Honestly, I could talk about a whole lot of stuff.
Like, yeah, it goes from each topic. It could just go anywhere. Yeah, talk about whatever you want to talk about.
But I don't just want to talk. Okay, what are your guys' just initial?
Do you want like give you a time limit, or we could talk about this for a little bit longer, and then we can talk about
Maybe.
something else?
Do you know what's the time
We're
we're
at
right
25 minutes.
Oh,
We can go on.
yeah, we can go on. Do you want to want me to go on about the whole God situation and
Yeah, I want to hear
the
this. Are you talking about the pagan
inheriting-
gods or
Huh?
the pagan gods or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then it says inheriting all nations.
Mm-hmm.
So, in looking at this passage in the context of the entire Bible itself, it plays into this worldview that I didn't coin, but another scholar person coined. It's called the Deuteronomy 32 worldview. And I'll read the passage. And it says, verse 7, "Remember the days of old and consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you, your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance." So, God, that's his title, the Most High, which is a common phrase for, I think, other gods in the ancient Middle Eastern world. Like, I think in, like, the place that this all took place, which was the land of Canaan, the Canaanites had their own god, and his name was El, and he had the same title of Most High. Mm-hmm. So basically they're doing like this correlation between the Most High. But it says, "When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, and when he divided mankind, and he fixed the borders of the peoples." You guys know a little bit about the Bible, right? You know what?
I hope so.
Okay, let me just ask you guys, where in the Bible, I'll give you a hint, it's towards the beginning, where did God divide the people and the nations up? Like, where did he spread the nations out?
Why don't put me on the spot like this?
Come on, it's something. Just guess.
Just guess?
Like, there are three main stories that happen in the first, like, 11 chapters of the Bible. Come on.
It's like Bible trivia. I think I was reading it. I read it to Linda one time.
It was in chapter 11, Genesis.
Oh, it's in Genesis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to think of what.
Do you want me to say it?
The three camps. Okay.
Oh, you're asking for like the title of.
What was the story? Because there's the Garden of Eden, the creation, the flood. What comes after the flood? Do you know? It's okay if you don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Think back to the kids' Bibles. Just kidding. Kids' Bible story. My first Bible.
Think of the pictures.
It's the Tower of Babel.
Oh,
the Tower of Babel, right? Because the people come together. They're like, "Yay, let's make a name for ourselves and build this giant tower." And so, what does God do? He's like, "They're rebelling against me," which is this whole thing. And so he divides the nations up and he spreads them out, and that's the dividing of the nations. It's that moment there. So there, more Bible. What I'm doing here is just giving you guys Bible trivia. Like
that would actually be so much fun.
Bible
trivia. You could probably look one up. No, but you know what that actually makes me think of is I know a lot of people that are that say that God in the Old Testament is like such a butt compared to when he's in the New Testament, and I always think that's so funny. It just makes me laugh every time.
I mean, it's Bible,
but it's the same God, obviously, right?
It's the same God, but I mean, yeah,
funny.
That's another thing I could get into at some point. But we're on the Tower of Babel right now.
Yeah.
So basically, what the author of Deuteronomy is looking back at is this moment, and he says, "When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, and he fixed, when he divided mankind, he fixed the borders of the people," and it says, "according to the number of the sons of God." According to the number of the sons of God. In other translations or in other manuscripts of like the Hebrew Bible that we have, it says according to the number of the sons of Israel, which how many people were there, tribes that were there in Israel. It was 12. 12 tribes. 12 tribes of Israel. But when looking back at the Tower of Babel, did Israel even exist at that time? No. No, so it wouldn't make sense. Why would he divide it according to the number of Israel when Israel didn't even exist at the time?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and Sons of God is the older translation of the Bible, so I'm just kind of building an argument that saying that Sons of God is better in this section. And the fun question to ask is, well, who the heck are the sons of God? Like, what the heck are sons? Have you guys heard of that phrase before?
No.
Other than from me, possibly.
Just right now.
Yeah, sons of God. I'll finish out this little section, and he says, but the Lord's portion, so he divides the nations up according to the number of the sons of God. And he says, but the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob, his allotted heritage. So Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel, that's his people, basically.
Yeah.
So God is claiming ownership of his people, and it uses that language of inheritance and heritage and whatnot. So that's a really big key phrase to focus on. But the sons of God, again, just to see if you guys know who. It's okay, you don't have to.
Say Abraham.
Huh? No, I was gonna say, where do we first see the sons of God in the Bible? What do you think? Don't look it up.
No, I'm not looking it up. This is going crazy. I spilled the orange.
Dude, the orange juice just screwed up your whole thing.
It's going insane.
For context, he spilled, what is he called?
This mandarin. I spilled the juice on my
Mandarin
mouse pad.
oranges on his
Really quick,
mouse
have you
pad.
guys seen those like funny videos that people make where it's like those juice cups or those cups of mandarin
Oh, yeah,
oranges
they
and they open it and they just
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen those.
It's kind of exactly what happened.
That's
with this
exactly
one.
what happened.
I'll get the ones that sometimes they don't like squirt out any juice, but of course this one had to. But whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
So where did they first appear?
They first appear in Genesis 6, which is the flood story. And I'll turn there. I guess there's a better passage that I go to, but just for, like, where do we first see it in the Bible, you know? It makes a little bit of sense. Here's what it says. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, and the daughters were born to them, it says, the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took them as their wives, and they chose any that they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not abide in man forever, and his flesh shall be 120 days, whatever. Then it says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. This is not child language for Bible stories. There's a reason they keep this stuff out. When the sons of God came into the daughters of man, they bore children to them. These were mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. And so it's this just great wickedness. And this is where we see the sons of God first appear in the Bible. And to give more context into knowing who these are, I will turn once more to the book of Job. Because
I love the book of Job.
Have you read Job?
Yeah, it's probably my first or probably my second or third favorite book in the whole Bible.
Yeah. Job is a great book. Man, I'm stuttering a lot. Have you read it through like completely?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
so
enjoyed it.
you probably have heard of this.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear.
It says, so they give the introduction to who Job is. He's like a really cool guy. He's got a lot of stuff and kids. And it says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan, or I guess it should be the Satan because it's
the Satan, yeah.
Yeah, the Satan, the adversary, that's the title.
Yes.
Also came along with them. The Lord said to Satan, from where have you come? And Satan answered, whatnot. Yeah, so basically it's this whole, like, scene where these sons of gods are coming to present themselves. And Satan comes along with them. And so what do you think this tells us about the sons of God? Just your guys' thoughts. Are these people? Are these
angels?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are these
represent for context? Kind of sounds like that.
Yeah, from the context of this, it sounds like it. But to give a little bit more, I think. I know that they were mentioned a couple times in Job, but when at the end of Job, when God is like, Job, you better face me like a man because I've got something to say to you. You know that part? Yeah. What does he say? Oh, so he's like ripping into Job. He's like, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth?
I love this part.
Yeah. He says, tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Like, he's like, come on, Job. Obviously, if you're gonna
rip on the world that you're living in.
Yeah,
you should.
yeah. He's like, so God goes on. He says, who stretched out the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstones? When the morning stars sang together and the sons of God shouted for joy. Were there people when God was laying the foundations of the earth?
I hope not.
Well, if we look back in Genesis, we'll see that humans didn't come until like the last day of the creation story. So it's using this language of like the stars, because from like ancient cultures, literally the planets are named after like what are they? The Greek gods or the Roman gods? Like Jupiter,
Roman gods, yeah.
Jupiter, Saturn,
Pluto.
Literally,
yeah.
The
They're
stars.
Roman gods, yeah.
The stars were connected with divine beings, basically.
Because the sky was like unknown to the night.
Yeah.
The sky was unknown.
It was the waters above, which is such a cool concept because we know there's not actually water, but they believed that the earth was just water and then a big sky dome, basically.
They wanted to have
separated
like
the waters from the waters.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's cool stuff. So yeah, they there's like the God puts like the inhabitants of the sky basically, but when he puts the stars up in the sky, and they use the relationship between stars, like the morning stars sing together and the sons of God shouted for joy. And so these are really closely linked languages. So these, I'm arguing, are divine beings who they're like, I guess you could say, the heavenly family of God, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Genesis, the stars are called to rule the sky, so basically they're like the sky rulers. But anyways, these are divine beings, and this ties into the Deuteronomy 32 worldview. So if we take a look back, it says, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance and divided mankind, he fixed the borders of the people according to the number of the sons of God. So, with all of this now that we've been talking about, what this is saying is that God handed the nations over to worship these divine beings. Because, one, as we looked in Genesis, the sons of God rebelled against God because it goes on to talk about how there was wickedness across the face of the land. And actually, I have it right here with me. in later Jewish writings. So, the Jewish people were sent into exile in Babylon. And when they came back, they started producing more texts, and that's what we call the Second Temple literature, or intertestamental literature, which is like writings between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And one of those writings is called the Book of Enoch, which goes into describing that whole scene of the sons of God, which they use the term watchers.
Oh,
Watchers.
I see. Yeah, okay.
Now I'm tying in the idea. I had talked to Emmanuel a little bit about the term watchers beforehand, which appears one time in the Bible, and it's in Daniel. Watchers. So yeah, they're going to talk about these divine beings who did not stay in their place of order, because that's what Genesis 1 is talking about. It's God ordering the cosmos so that he can dwell in it. Basically, he's making a cosmic temple, which, again, so cool. So cool. God's making a cosmic temple, and so he's ordering everything. And the sons of God then go and rebel against God by not staying in their place. And in the New Testament, Peter, the letter of Peter and Jude actually talk about this a little bit. And it's all tied together with like the Book of Enoch, because listeners might want to sit down for this, but the writers of the New Testament read books.
That's great.
They read books. And so it's basically just a continuation of this idea of like divine beings rebelled against God. And so at the Tower of Babel, this is like the ultimate rebellion where people are like, because the Tower of Babel basically was this place where people were trying to bring God down to them instead of God being with people as they multiply across the face of the earth. So they come together and try to force God to come down. And God is like, I'm not having this. So he divides the nations up at the Tower of Babel. At least when the writers of Deuteronomy look back at that story, he divides the people up according to the number of the sons of God. So he's like, you don't want to worship me? Fine, you can have these other gods to worship. And then this is where Psalm 82 comes into play. God takes his seat in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. So these gods, these other gods that God has dispersed among the nations, they themselves, because the point of it was to point back to God and to say, hey, go worship God.
Mm-hmm.
But what this is saying is that they're like, no, they're taking their own worship. They're basically having people worship themselves.
Yes.
Is that making sense? I've said so much right now, honestly.
I'm following.
You're following?
Yeah,
It's,
I'm good.
Yeah, I bet the listeners
I'm
right now are
enjoying
like,
this.
I bet Isaiah's gonna... Does Isaiah listen to this?
No.
Oh,
He doesn't.
never mind. So yeah, this comes in, Psalm 82 comes in now, and he says, God takes his place in the divine council. In the midst of the gods, he holds judgment. He says, how long will you judge unjustly? And show partiality to the wicked. So basically, the sons of God, the watchers, were basically meant to watch over humanity. And actually, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but I have a article that was written by a scholar named, I think his name's called Amar Anus, crazy name, where he goes into talking about the origin of the Watchers and where this all came from. And basically their role in culture was to judge justly and show righteousness to people. what this is saying is that that's not what these guys are doing. They are judging unjustly. So God says, give justice to the weak and to the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hands of the wicked. So he's basically saying, dude, you guys get your act together. And they aren't. It says, they have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. And then we get to the passage which the Mormons ripped out of context. It says, I said, you are gods, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men, you shall die.
Dang, they really ripped that out.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So much more sense.
Yeah.
Dang, they really ripped that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so much more that I could go to. This idea of here, I'll just finish it out. Then he says, "Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations." So, it's that same language of inheritance, right? He says he gave the nations their inheritance by dividing them according to the number of the sons of God. So he's like, okay, nations, if you're not going to worship me, you're going to have these other gods. And then he says, but the Lord's portion is Israel. So in this kind of summary of what I'm sharing, Israel was just the Lord's, whereas all the other nations were the other gods. And so what this is saying is like, arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall bring back all the nations under your rule, which is what was originally meant to happen in the Garden of Eden, where people dispersed across the face of the earth and were basically God's representatives to rule and reign over the earth. Yeah, and so that's what kind of this underlying theme that you guys have probably never heard of this before.
I'm enjoying this a lot more than the more we're
I like learning. I like it. It's very interesting.
So it's this whole thread that runs underneath scriptures and is in the mind of the biblical authors. And so God's mission basically is to bring back all the nations from these other gods that they're worshiping.
Yeah.
And they do that, and he does that, of course, by the idea of the Messiah, right? From the line of David, a king who would come and bring the nations back to worshiping God, which is described all throughout the prophets, especially like in the end of Isaiah. You guys have heard the book of Isaiah?
Yeah.
One of the big themes is a king, Messiah figure who would come and bring the nations back under the rule and reign of God. And if we want to go even further, this is what the mission of Jesus is, right? When he says to his disciples, go into all nations and baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, to bring all nations back to God.
Yes.
It's the mission of Jesus.
Spread the word.
Spread the word.
That's the mission.
Gospel.
And yeah, again, there's a whole bunch of other passages. There's one that I just found on Sunday that used the same inheritance language. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even know this existed. And then, yeah, other passages that talk about divine counsel and stuff. So as we can see from all of this basically teaching that I've just gone through,
You should be
my Mormon friends, our Mormon friends, I think, have really pulled this verse out of context.
Did you ever show this to any of your Mormon friends?
No, I don't think I ever really had an opportunity to because I think I started learning about this stuff in high school. Like, I started hearing about it, especially this scholar named Dr. Michael Heiser. He is one of the guys who really pushes this idea. But it's because a whole bunch of scholarship is already known about this stuff. And from articles that I've read and other stuff, yeah, people have already known about this for a long time. And what he's doing is making it more accessible for like common people who don't.
I don't think the Mormons know about this, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure they don't.
I hope. I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's the Divine Council, the Deuteronomy 32 worldview, that Jesus is going to reclaim people back from the gods of the nations, which could be just for other religion or like from like powers like sex, money, drugs.
That's
power.
way to look at it, yeah.
Power, because one of the common languages in the New Testament used is principalities and powers. There's in Daniel like the Prince of Persia is another word for him. So this talk of like rulership ties into the gods of the nations. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's honestly littered everywhere.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and you pick up the Bible and you don't really.
I should have taken notes.
It's okay.
Good teaching.
Hey, you got the whole recording.
Yeah, you got the whole recording. You should just listen to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick up that book though, the Book of Enoch. I kind of want to read it.
Yeah. So again, I want to emphasize, I don't think that the Book of Enoch would be considered like part of the Bible canon, but it is still a piece of literature that that Jewish people read at the time.
Yeah.
It's like
it's still important.
It's still important and still can tell us a bit about what was in the mindset of
the writers,
the authors of the Bible, because a very important thing is to approach the Bible with an ancient Israelite mindset, which not a lot of people do. They either approach it as a science textbook, a rule book. Actually, so before I got sick, I was on the Bible app, and you know how they have the verse of the day and stuff?
Yeah.
I do not like listening to those little videos that go alongside of it, but that day I just decided to read it, and the dude in the video, because he had a guitar, and I was like, oh, I wonder what he's going to do.
Oh, God.
So he was talking about the verse, he was talking about how the Bible is like a beautifully crafted, like, piece of like art and literature, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what the Bible is. And then he said because it's like an instruction manual, and I was like, no. I was like, dang it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I got sick. No.
Take it back right now.
It's not an instruction manual. I encourage listeners, when you read the Bible, you should try reading it as fiction. Not because the stories in it are fake, because I think it's clear this was written at a specific time in history and talks about history. It's this idea of where was I going with it? Shoot, I lost it.
That's how I like to tell people sometimes, if they like ridicule my religion or anything, I'll be like, just like read the Bible as a book.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Just like
have an open mind.
Not like that, but like just read the Bible as a book.
You guys have heard the Bible Project? It's they're phenomenal.
Is that a whole other thing to get into?
The YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Bible
Yes.
Project.
We watched videos about that.
I've watched
videos.
I watched the video on Joe.
Yeah.
The book.
Yeah.
I really like the book. So
Yeah.
I remember now.
With Leviathan and whatnot, Chaos Monsters. Woo. Other thing that I could.
Yeah, I enjoy their videos a lot.
Yeah. So one of their common phrases is like, we believe that the Bible is a unified story that leads to Jesus. Like, read it like it's a story, and don't don't approach the text as you would like a modern person. Imagine this. This is an analogy that the Bible Project uses. Imagine you're going to another part of the world, say like France or something. So you go into France and you get off the plane and you're like, you go up to someone and be like, hey, where's McDonald's? Like, you are like, I feel like it's like super, like, I guess ignorant, is that the right word?
Yeah.
To be like, I'm gonna go to this other country and expect them, one, to speak English.
Yeah, I was gonna say they speak French.
Two, to just
Yeah.
as well, they
To
probably
be
have
under-
McDonald's.
They
They
have
they have
McDonald's.
McDonald's, but also like
Just basically be like on your own customs.
like yeah, if you go to France, you probably should at least try to learn a little bit of French.
Yeah.
Learn about different destinations and like good places to eat in France, and
Yeah.
like learn about that culture that you're entering into.
Yeah, like I said, like be open.
It's the
I've
same
heard
thing. It's the same thing with the Bible,
Yeah.
except you're entering into another culture and another time frame, like thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset you gotta have when approaching
I've
the
actually
Bible.
heard that America's McDonald's is the worst McDonald's in the world. Like,
I
other
don't-
I
countries,
don't doubt
like
it.
France, England, their McDonald's are so much better than ours.
Don't
that
doubt
they
it.
serve better stuff.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
forgot what country it was, but they serve beer at McDonald's.
Yo,
In Ireland.
I don't know.
That'd be
Well, it might be
Honestly,
actually.
that'd be sick.
It makes sense.
I wonder if it's good though, like, cause it's McDonald's.
Well,
Is it like their Sprite here, but it's beer?
Maybe.
yeah, it might be. I heard there's a thing. What is it? Oh, what meal is it? There's like a meal that literally has beer in it. Like that's the main thing. That it's like a sandwich and beer, and they call it something. And then the Big Mac is just like a La Big Mac or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
That is funny.
I think
Anyway,
it might be France, actually, because
Probably.
I think it was Francis Ngannou that said it, and he was from France.
you need to go to French and have McDonald's beer. The drinking age is like younger, right?
They smoke and they have literally like a smoking place in high schools.
I'm pretty
For-
sure in the
for
UK
French to
it's
smoke.
like 16 to drink.
Yeah, it is.
I have a cousin who's from Vietnam, and she likes sitting down with my dad and talking with him about drinks that they like to have.
How old is your cousin?
I think she's 19, maybe she
Oh.
turned 20. So she's about my age. But she lived in Vietnam, and she was able to have drinks with her friends. So
Dang.
yeah. Anyways, the analogy was to say when we approach
it openly.
Yeah.
when we approach the Bible.
Have an open mind.
Exactly. When you approach life, you should approach it like this.
Open-minded,
Open like
ready
very
this.
to
accepting.
ready to learn new things.
Uh-huh. And this, you remember how I was like, I really want to talk about everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Oh
That-
my gosh, I want to watch that movie so bad. I've seen so many things about it.
We have to watch it. Honestly, it's
Is it
so
still in
good.
theaters?
I think it is. still
Yeah,
in theaters.
but I think you can buy it on Amazon now.
Oh,
I think you can buy
is
it on Amazon.
Yeah,
You
I
have
think I saw
to
that.
pay like $19.
It might be on
for it,
HBO
but-
Max. They have movies in theaters sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's good. But
Is it in a different language?
no, it's in English.
Really?
No, it's good, man.
No, I swear I saw a clip of it being in like Korean or something.
Maybe
There's a remake.
they had a full section, but I don't know. It was in English when I saw it,
Oh, okay.
but it was such a good movie. As you would say, that ties into like hold life with an open hand because, dude, life is crazy and chaotic.
Yep.
As
That must be an understatement.
From Ecclesiastes, like I was talking about at work, I was like, the teacher or whoever the writer of the book is, he says everything is meaningless, which the word is hevel, which refers to like smoke or vapor. He's saying life is like vapor. It's like you try to understand it or grasp for it, and it just slips right through your hands. Kind of like the. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna ever understand how life works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so life is crazy and chaotic. So I think
Let
if
it pass through your
you
hands.
open, you should accept life with an open hand because You don't know what's gonna happen. Like, that's honestly why I've been less frustrated at work.
You just leave.
Because, you know what? I go into work and I'm like, I hate everything. Like, I told Emmanuel this, but I was like, I am so frustrated.
All the time.
All the time. Honestly, I've had this, like, underlying, like, frustration, and I don't know why. But then I was, like, reading through Ecclesiastes and, like, or watching the movie, and I was like, dude.
Just gives you a different perspective.
Yeah. If you don't go into life with expectations, like, I don't know what's going to happen today, but I'm going to enjoy, like, the little things in life. That's one thing that I know I haven't been focusing on recently.
The little things in life?
Yeah. One of the things, specifically that stood out to me was, like, the warmth of the sun. I was like, whoever focuses on the warmth of the sun, like...
Such a small detail.
It's such a small detail, but it's
It's
nice.
I'd be hot.
Yeah, at work taking donations.
I was thinking
Turn it down a little
in
bit.
my car. Just the warmth of the sun hitting me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hot.
Yeah. But, like, if it's, like, a nice warm day, like, sitting and enjoying the warmth of the sun and a nice, cool, refreshing glass of water.
You know, it's even more different when it's cold outside, like fall or, like, the start of spring when it's still cold and the sun hits you and it feels so nice.
Or in the summer when it's, like, that perfect temperature and there's, like, a breeze.
Yes. It's so nice.
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm telling you, I think that's one of the things that I've always been good at is focusing on the little things. Like, people will be so down about something, but I'm like the type of person to be like, I point out the good out of it. I've always been that type of person.
Have you met a lot of people that just hate it here in Yakima?
Yeah.
They're like,
oh yeah, you have to
out.
get out. You have to get out.
That's not my approach to Yakima.
Yeah.
Because, like, the question that I ask myself is, when am I gonna be satisfied? Am I gonna be satisfied when I move to if I move to a big city around, like, a lot of people? Am I gonna be satisfied when I get the job that I want, or the girlfriend, or whatever?
See, J. Cole figured that out years ago and Love Yours.
Oh.
There's always gonna be a bigger house, or
I know,
better car, better job.
but it's so true.
There's always gonna be something better.
Yeah.
Bigger city, more people, nicer people.
That's true. I mean, a lot of people think of Yakima as like, oh, this boring town, nothing to do. But like, I'll always know of it as home, and the thing that I know and the thing that I'm familiar with.
One of the things I was going to say is having a mindset of thankfulness. And I know that's also what I've not had recently. Oh, man. Talking about work with the freaking oil spilling and the freaking
all the things that
poopy diapers.
Yeah.
Like, I am not thankful for that.
Yeah, my start of the day was bad, but then I just went through the rest of the day. I mean, at the end, I just remembered that right now and forgot about it.
You know what I always think of whenever I think I hate my job? I'm like, at least I have people that I like talking to.
Yeah.
You could be at the job, like when I first started working there, I talked to nobody, and my days would feel like 20 hours long. And now I have friends like you guys that I talk to, and it feels so much faster and so much better. And I'm just like, I don't have this anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like any other job.
Or you could even be like, dude, at least I have a job.
Yeah, exactly. At least I'm getting paid.
I know, at least I'm, like, at least making some money, you know? I was going to say, a while ago, I woke up one morning, I had made a mug of coffee, as I always do, because I have to.
Yeah.
Cup of Joe. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was, again, not having it, and I just in a funk that morning. And I was sitting there, the sun was shining through the window, the dogs were laying on the couch with me, or we have a chocolate lab, Lucy.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, Lucy. So I was sitting there, and I was like, the thought just popped into my mind. I was like, those dogs are gonna die one day.
Yep,
Isn't that such a random thought? But it's like, dude, we're taking care of these animals right now, and they are going to die. And I was like, if they're gonna die, like, in 12 years, like why do we even care for them? And then I was like, because they are alive at the moment and they need someone to take care of them. And I am thankful that I get to take care of these dogs at this moment in time. And I was just sitting there and I was thankful. I was like, I'm thankful that my dogs are alive and I get to take care of them. Yeah. And that just changed my entire day. I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to be thankful more.
It's literally all about perspective.
I think the same thing with my siblings. They're so annoying, but I'm just like, at least they're annoying me, and they're not like out doing something crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Like drugs or something.
Yeah.
I think a lot about that too. I think my siblings, they're like the closest people out of anybody. They're just the people that I know the most, and I mean, yeah.
That know you the most too. You live with them.
And yeah, sometimes they annoy me, but I just know that I would never have a relationship like I have with them.
Yeah. As you say, this ties into Everything Everywhere All at Once because they have this idea of this thing called the Everything Bagel.
Oh yeah.
The Everything Bagel, where
I have to go see this movie now.
Okay, listen.
Goodness.
Is it alright if I talk about it a little bit?
No, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow now. Just because you said that.
Is it okay if I talk about it a little bit? Is it okay?
Watch it together. I'm gonna want to see it too.
What time?
No, don't say. I'm gonna go watch it. We can have this podcast again. We can talk about it for like an hour or two. I will go watch this movie. I'm gonna go see it, actually. I'm not joking.
I want to go see it too.
Okay.
I want to see it again.
Okay, you can go.
When?
I'm literally gonna go see it tomorrow now.
When?
Oh man.
Probably.
I don't have any money.
The late showing.
Dude, you're fine. I'll pay for you.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Tuesday. The tickets are cheaper. That's why I'm gonna go tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Tuesdays the movie tickets are cheaper.
Okay.
Just let me know what time.
I'm going. What's the?
Look it up. Look at the cinema. Making plans mid podcast.
Hey, is it okay if I talk about it just a little bit?
Well, he's actually already told me about the Everything Bagel part. I already know about
Okay,
that.
you can talk about it.
It's basically this. Yeah, it's this idea of basically like nihilism, where like this evil being puts everything in like everything in the universe, like she said, like hopes and dreams and all breeds of dogs, and she put everything on this bagel. Thus it's called the Everything Bagel. And it's this just black hole of just meaninglessness. And
it's not showing anymore.
what?
No.
I'll look up where you can watch it.
Look up where it's streaming, and then
I'm pretty sure it's
literally
on
we can.
Amazon
You guys
Prime.
can come over to my house, and I'll buy it, and we can watch it.
Okay.
Because it's such a good movie. But it's this idea of like people get like enveloped in this bagel, and
yeah, it's $20 on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Vudu, like all the buying places for movies.
I can buy it if you guys want to come over tomorrow.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
watch
down
it.
too.
Okay.
Just after you guys get off work, because I get off at 3:30.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't even work
I
tomorrow.
don't work tomorrow.
You get off at 5, right? Or do you even
Maybe.
work tomorrow?
I get off at 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just go after 6 then.
Yeah, I know I have Encounter tomorrow, but it's okay. I don't think they'll mind if I miss it. I don't need to. It's okay. But yeah, it's again the whole like underlying theme of the movie was like, if you change your perspective, everything changes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Such a good movie, and it's hilarious. They do it. Hey. All of you watching,
this is like a sponsor
go watch
for
it.
the movie.
Oh my
You have to
God.
go watch it.
Yeah, this is not a sponsor. It's just go.
Personal shout out. Personal shout out.
Yeah, I liked it.
You've talked about this movie many times though, so I feel like it's like influenced you a lot actually.
Dude, literally when walking out of the theater, I was like, this movie just like,
Change your perspective.
again, it's like, it made me think about Ecclesiastes, which is the book of the Bible. Basically, like, that's the whole theme behind the book. Like, one of the things like, God has put eternity in the human hearts, but we still don't know what God is doing from eternity into eternity, so everything is like smoke. It just is fleeting. We don't know what's going on.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, and in some translations they say everything is meaningless.
I'm gonna go home and read that book. in the Bible?
Honestly, so honestly,
Okay.
I think it's probably my top favorite book because
Oh my god!
it's
I have to go read this
yeah.
now.
it's honestly helped me in a lot of tough times in life.
Okay.
And then of course there's the Revelation, but
Oh my goodness, that's the whole other episode.
Oh yeah!
That's
oh
a
my
whole.
gosh! That's a
other
Hey,
whole.
episode.
I was
We
gonna
talk about
say-
it after we watch the movie.
this is for all my friends out there who just think I'm crazy for liking Ecclesiastes. Revelation. This is for you guys. I like Revelation because it's changed my perspective on how I approach the Bible. Because if you approach the book of Revelation as science or literal,
You're not
oh
gonna
my
get anything out of
gosh,
it.
oh my,
Yeah.
or you're gonna get something crazy and you're gonna
Or
be
you're
terrified.
Brain's gonna
Yeah.
explode. Yeah.
Yeah, again, kind of approach the Bible in a reasonable way with the ancient Israelite in your mind.
Well, there you have it.
There you
Okay,
have it.
yeah.
We've
That's
gone
the
full
lesson-
circle.
Lesson of today: change your perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we done now?
Yeah, that
Are
was
we-
that was
How,
a good
wait,
discussion.
what time are we at?
Hour 10.
Sheesh,
We're
yeah.
at hour
I
10.
think we're
Alright,
wrap it
that
up.
was
Hey,
a podcast
Podcast
with,
with God loves you. All right.
hey. Thank
See
you
you guys
guys.
in the next one.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace.